a lot of headlines coming in from the Deputy Chief Minister on the airport as well as AI. And not to mention his own chief ministerial path. But thank you so much, Lohit and Manjula ma'am. In fact, I think this is the first time we are interacting after you took charge as IT secretary. So congratulations on that. And one thing that the minister said particularly struck me. He said AI, he was very candid when he said, you know, he's an educationist, so AI will have an impact on jobs. In fact, he said it might take away half of Bengaluru's jobs, apart from other cities. If you can give me your perspective as IT secretary, and Lohit, your own perspective as a CEO of India's biggest staffing company, ma'am.
Thank you, and thank you this News Network 18 and also organizers here. Yeah, I think we've heard about this being spoken by the Honorable DCM also. I mean, studies and various reports across mention that there will be a lot of jobs that may be lost. Some estimate to the extent of 50%. But then anyway, time will tell. But generally, the industry leaders have been expressing their opinions in various forums. When you listen to them, definitely there will be a loss of few jobs. At the same time, there will also be a lot of evolution of new jobs, a lot of transition across the across various roles. Probably skills will be valued, reweighted and reviewed, and probably new career pathways will emerge, but definitely there will be a shift. I think government is also kind of gearing up to this. We have also been trying to do our bit in whatever manner possible, since AI is an emerging technology, and I mean it's substantially being already adopted across various in the government sector, even outside also. A lot of adoption has happened, but still there's a lot to do actually. We are also trying to do through our various initiatives of the government. One thing which I can mention here is that the centers of excellence which we have been organizing. Recently, off late, we have started a center of excellence. One is, the recent ones, like one on AI specifically with the IIT Alumni Center, and so on, and also between one with the biotechnology related AI in biotechnology and application of these, AI solutions. These are all that we are looking at, because all these centers of excellence look at skilling, innovation, and also research. These are the fundamental. And another thing which we are also looking at is looking at beyond Bengaluru, because a lot of skill and talent being available beyond Bengaluru is another area which we are trying to tap into. So a lot of effort is going on from the government. Apart from this, we also have other initiatives which I think I'll share while we talk. Yeah.
Right. Lohit, what trends are you witnessing? Because as India's largest staffing firm, your fortunes in a sense are dependent on the fortunes of IT companies. And we just did a story last week on how their headcount has shrunk year on year. Like between TCS, Infosys, HCL, the top 5 companies, their headcount has gone down by 8,000 people. They are not hiring like before. How are you making up for that? Are GCCs perhaps, a ray of sunshine amidst this huge disruption that we are seeing in IT?
Yeah, thank you, and glad to be here. I think what is changing is the nature of jobs. And the way we should look at this is that what you were doing yesterday is not what you could do tomorrow. So when our deputy CM here made that comment saying 50% of the jobs, he's talking about as on today when you look at it, 50% of the jobs may not be relevant tomorrow, because a lot of coding work, a lot of entry-level work could definitely get automated, and you would require less number of man hours or men and women per se doing that. But understand another thing, and there was an answer in when he was ending his speech, and he also said there is an opportunity to near skill, upskill and reskill, when he was also talking about himself. So I will take it in the same spirit with any of the candidate. There is a near skill, upskill and reskill opportunity, and then there is some job available which is of the higher order magnitude. So as you spoke about, Chandra, and you're right, India has about 6.1 million IT workforce. A couple of years ago, IT services companies were the biggest contributor to IT workforce. No longer today. So it's enterprise clients who have large IT departments. These could be product companies, these could be even the Zeptos of the world, and you have the speakers from there today itself. So it's a company which has been built on technology, having lots of people, but not typically just doing coding and not just being a services company. The second is GCC, like you rightly said, and your opening video also showed that there are about 2,900. Mind you, of the total number of GCCs which have come in India in the last 30 years, 2/3 have come only from a single country. Only one country in the world. The rest of the world has given only 1/3. Far East has yet not contributed to India's GCC story. Saudi Arabia hasn't yet contributed in a meaningful way. Europe hasn't contributed in a meaningful way. Generation 1 companies haven't come. And India's sweet spot in times to come would be the $100 million company to the $5 billion company. Today, what we've attracted are the multi-billion-dollar companies already. The second point I want to raise is 30 years ago when GCC started coming, and even when IT firms were working for global customers and mandates, we were known for data transactions. A lot of work was data, a lot of work was transactions. From transactions, last 10 years has gone into transformation. So what I mean by transformation is if you were doing something in 10 steps, customers are no longer coming to India and saying, replicate the 10 steps. They are saying, these were the 10 steps we were doing. Can you build it better? So can you reduce the 10 steps to 5? The second leap that India needs to take, and there we need patient capital as well, is when we start going into IP creation. We are not yet there. I think that one leap, along with patient capital, will bring a lot of new jobs. And the last point before I pause on this is, look at the number of net new jobs that will get created. Green energy, data centers. Parliament has recently passed a law on nuclear energy in the public-private partnership. You're looking at data housing in India in a very meaningful way, which has never been done in the past. You're looking at healthcare solutions coming out of India. You're looking at products and IP being built in India. So there is a wave of new work which will also come, which will bring about the change for the future work.
That's interesting. You're saying there's still headroom for global capability centers because we've only sort of seen one part of it. We haven't seen the Far East and Saudi Arabia and all that. Ma'am, as someone looking to attract more and more domestic companies, global companies to invest in Karnataka, increasingly, what is your pitch going to be? Because as my colleague Harish alluded in the previous panel, there is obviously a lot of competition, and we are talking about 1 rupee per acre kind of competition here. At some level, is Karnataka confident that, okay, we have the network effects, all of us might complain about the traffic in the infra, but ultimately people come here?
Like we all know, studies have shown and reports are being written there that we are definitely one of the innovation capital. We are one of the leading innovation hubs in the world. AI-wise also, we are supposed to be the second huge talent, AI talent globally also. I think more than 50% of the AI engineers of the country are in Bangalore. So there's no dearth of capital, but then the way we, and also like just Minister was also mentioning, DCM also was mentioning about the kind of interaction we had with various countries. And even today we had a discussion with the German Chamber of Commerce. There's a lot of interest in, locating or identifying potential investments in Karnataka, especially in Bangalore. There's a lot of talk going on about it, a lot of interest being evinced. Even now you can see the GCCs, like you mentioned, I think in the last 2 years we have added more than 135 GCCs. That is because of the kind of the skill, the kind of capital, talent capital that we have, and also the kind of innovation ecosystem that exists here, and also the avenues that we have across various institutions, research organizations, new technologies, emerging technologies being, a lot of work going on there. So there's a lot of collaboration across industries that is possible that we are seeing. A lot of interest is there. So I think, and apart from that, a lot of interest even in in the regions beyond Bangalore also, like when you compared the prices in Bangalore vis-a-vis other places, definitely Bangalore is the best, but then there are also interest even beyond Bangalore where we see that more than 10 to 15%, the costs are lesser, more than by 10 to 15%, it's lesser outside Bangalore. And also the talent is available in those areas also, and then a lot of good infrastructure, good living conditions exist outside Bangalore also. So I think there's a lot of interest in Karnataka. I think when we're pushing hard, and we have something called as a platform called Global Innovation Alliance, through which we kind of reach out to various other countries and see how we can collaborate between governments to government, or institution to institution, or even across industry and institutions, and see how we can further nurture our innovation and research and development that is possible, and then we can see how we can scale up mutually, grow together.
Right. Lohit, what kind of trends are you seeing as far as the gig economy is concerned? The government, recently introduced the labor reforms. What kind of a fillip does that give? And, even within quick commerce, we are now seeing category unlocks happen. You have quick services now, a Snapit and a Pronto. Then you have quick baby care delivery and quick this and quick that. So, various categories are opening up within that quick universe. What has that meant for the gig economy? Is it only going to boom going forward? Is it a structural shift?
So first and foremost, I think we must appreciate congratulate everybody in India for the fact that India has leaped, and the government felt that it was the right time to accept gig as a form of work, platforms as form of work, and in the OSH code, as they've embedded, you will read it says gig platform and other workers. The minute you use the word other workers, tomorrow it's our understanding that at one stage the government can even say domestic workers working at your home are very much employees and you are very much an employer. I think the time is right. There have been court cases in California, London and other places, as we are aware, because of the gig form of work. I think India has had the maturity to accept it for what it is, because the millennials are coming. They want instant gratification on one side and they want to quickly work and start earning. On the other side, today, the kind of Gen Z population which goes to work, they want almost everything at the convenience of a mobile app. And a couple of years ago, even in our own organization, we did the same. We said when we are managing about 500,000 workforce, how do we reach out to them? So we created a mobile app. So today everybody interacts with us through a mobile app. Whether it's they seek benefits, whether they have a grievance, whether they want to tell a story, whether they want to give a suggestion. Maybe at some stage, we would probably get to the point of 10-minute jobs for everyone in India.
Okay, that sounds like an interesting segue to the future of work. But ma'am, in terms of, investments going forward, yesterday we did a story on how NVIDIA has signed a 10-year lease for an office space in Bengaluru. In terms of the kinds of investments going forward, do you foresee more coming from global AI companies? Last year, Anthropic opened its office here. OpenAI has opened its office here. Do you see more and more investments coming from the frontier labs, from semiconductor companies? What steps are you taking there?
Yeah, I think things are looking better. Because of the talent potential, the skill and the talent that Bangalore and Karnataka has, there is a lot of interest. Like I just mentioned, we are one of the largest AI talent pool globally, and then more than 50% of AI engineers are here. Likewise, semiconductor design engineers, we have more than 70% of India's talent is in Bangalore. So there is immense potential. That is the reason I think a lot of investments are forthcoming. And also the kind of policy environment that is there, the kind of ecosystem that is here, that is another reason that we see a lot of interest being evinced in Bangalore. A lot of our policies, like for example, the GCC policies, not that the big leaders are coming because of the policy, but I think a lot of initiatives are there which do support a lot of other GCs also. There are smaller GCs also which are, opening offices in India, and also the existing ones are also scaling up. So I think there are a lot of these reasons that we see that the talent, the kind of environment, the kind of, the policies, the governments here, that I think attracts a lot of GCCs here in Bangalore.
Right. A follow-up to that, recently we spoke to a global MNC which said that the final choice for them came between Hyderabad and Bangalore, and they ultimately went with Hyderabad because of the infrastructure. And recently there have been reports about how Mumbai is upgrading at a very rapid pace. If you look at the pace of metro construction, the coastal road and so on. What do we need to do there in terms of the infra upgrade for Bangalore? Is that holding us back in some form?
I mean, it's not that other cities don't have traffic congestion and things like that. There are issues everywhere. But I think somehow when it comes to Bangalore, because of the kind of image it has, it gets kind of blown out of proportion. I think we just heard even the DCM mentioning about how things are being geared up in Bangalore, adding new metro network connectivity, adding new roads, adding tunnels, the water supply and other, infrastructure being built. Immense kind of huge investments are going on in all these sectors to also gear up the city. And apart from that, we also see a lot of initiative in the terms of grade A office infrastructure, which is being added. I think it was just mentioned that more than 20 million square feet is getting added and also getting consumed. So that is a proof that there is demand, though there are challenges with respect to infrastructure, but then definitely there is demand. If not, why would that kind of sales of office space, leasing or renting happen? So there is, we can't say that infrastructure is the reason that things are not moving or people are choosing other places against Bangalore.
Got it. Lohit, when I look at IT companies today, a lot of pressure seems to come in the middle layer, not so much at the entry fresher layer. Companies are still hiring for freshers, but the pressure point is, people who are over 45, over 50, program managers, people management functions. These are people who are also at a very critical time of their lives. They're married, they have kids, they have EMIs, they have families to run. What will happen to that segment of population, going forward? Will there be new roles for them? Is it too old to fundamentally reskill? Asking some 50-year-old to, sit and do Claude Code and OpenClaw. How are we going to deal with that particular issue? Is there scope for them to perhaps take up something different or do multiple gigs? How do you see the future of work for that segment of the population changing in the next 5 years?
So this has happened before as well. I think the narrative today, because of too many moving parts, including AI coming into the ecosystem, we are feeling as if this has happened for the first time. Let me draw your attention to the 90s, when the then Rajiv Gandhi government allowed the opening of the Indian economy, also brought in things like telecommunications and something called a dot matrix printer. Do you remember? At that point of time, everybody in the banking sector said, all the banks went on strike. And the reason they went on strike is because they said there's so many tellers whose job every day is to fill that passbook manually. And if now you have dot matrix printers and you'll just come out with reels and reels of statements, then who will stand in front of a teller to get a passbook filled every week, every month or whatever? Today, 35 years later from that event and that strike back then, if you look at the top private sector bank, they add even 1,000 branches today a year. The second one almost 800, the third 500. If you look at the number one lender, which is the public sector lender, the largest in the country, they add about 2,500 branches. The point I'm trying to make is the difference was that back then teller was the most important position in a bank or in a branch. Today the teller may not be the most important position, but the number of net jobs that banks are creating is phenomenal. So they will have cybersecurity experts, they'll have data center experts, they'll have artificial intelligence experts, they'll have analytics people, there'll be people who will be managing the data sets itself, there'll be people who will be managing your wealth, and there'll be wealth managers and all. So the banks are still growing, the financial institutes are still growing, the nature of jobs have changed. So to come back to your point, I think anybody, not just IT services companies, but in any ecosystem, whether you're in manufacturing, whether you're in retail, whether you're in consumer, whether you're in media, you will have to every 5 years unlearn a few things and relearn and learn a few things. That's progression. And the beauty is the human brain is best suited to do that unlearning, relearning, upskilling, which is required from time to time. It's the good old days, it was said, writing on the wall. So as long as you can understand the writing on the wall, whether it's your industry, my industry, anybody else's industry, doesn't matter. Please learn some new skills every day, no matter what your age is. Even at 60 when you retire, you will need new skills. You want to become an independent director on the board of a company, you need new skills. So now you have to think very differently. You're no longer an operating manager, but you're an independent director on behalf of the shareholders. So every time you'll have to do that.
Are we also moving to a scenario where people will perhaps have multiple gigs or multiple jobs?
Yeah, I think the other side of the human is a decent work-life balance. Different countries will have different connotations for it. Somebody in Europe, in Nordics, where you've got pension funds for the next 150 years, would probably work for 2 days or 3 days in a week, but will enjoy life 5 days in a week. As Indians, or as Asians, most of us would probably still work for 5 days a week at work, another 2 days still from home, but we'll probably sweat it out a little more. So everybody will have a different connotation, but there will be that segment of work-life balance. Within that segment of work-life balance, some people will choose more entrepreneurial work. And gig is nothing but another form of independence or entrepreneurial work. I feel the next generation may not be on a payroll as much as this generation is at, because we need the comfort of a paycheck every morning. Every first of every month, right?
It's great that you're getting a paycheck every morning. We get it only once.
That's why I corrected myself immediately.
But last word, yes. Yeah.
Just I was like going through a report where this Great Learning is a tech platform that is there.
Yeah.
It has more than 1 million for users. I think that shows cutting across industry, then the experience and the roles. The report shows that more than 40% of the senior level leadership is actually skilling themselves in AI. They're doing it more than 15 years seniority. The senior level people are also enrolling. At the same time, when we see for other sectors like data and things like that, it's more about the it's not so much in them. But younger generation, that is young professionals are taking up those courses. Likewise, when you see across non-IT is predominant nowadays. It's picking up more than 70%. I mean, as per the platform, this is. And whereas 25 to 30% is for the IT related sector that the skilling or people are undergoing the skilling there. So, a lot of interesting things can be seen. But of course, like I said, senior level management is also skilling themselves.
Great. On that note, I think we're out of time. Thank you very much.
I would just like to mention,
sure.
coming to the government, the scaling up is a challenge because government does take a lot of effort in, building the skills in the students, the young professionals. For example, we have a lot of initiatives by the Skill Development Department also called as Future Skills Program, through which we are trying to reach out to a lot of young professionals and teach them skills in AI, data science, cyber security, etc. Likewise, even the higher education department is partnering with industry and trying to redo the curriculum to enable AI as a part of the course. Some 360-hour kind of a credit, courses with credit. These are all the initiatives that have been taken up. But at the same time, it's an effort going on. But I think a lot also has to come from, the other stakeholders in this. A lot of, industries themselves. Like we are talking about Nipuna is another initiative where we are trying to see how through the industry and the partnership with the government, the industry can identify the potential employee who can be skilled, and then the skill provider also can be identified by the industry, and government will pitch in about 40% of the training cost. A lot of multiple initiatives being taken up to enable that people are employable, are ready, and AI-ready skills are available in the professionals and the young students and professionals.
Great. Any closing thoughts from you or sir? Ma'am, in terms of your own priorities as IT Secretary, what are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah, apart from AI, there are other emerging sectors also which we are focusing on. Biotech, health tech, med tech, and various like space technology, climate, a lot of other emerging technologies where we are focusing on. A lot of potential there also. The employment generation potential is immense in those sectors also. So AI and incorporating of AI across these sectors also matters a lot. So and I think everybody has to, like you just mentioned, learn to learn more. I think everybody has to learn to skill themselves and be kind of ready for the challenges of the industry.
Great.
I think jobs will always remain. It's
That's
just the nature
that's a
of
good thing to hear. Jobs will always remain. Huh.
jobs will always remain. I think, and humans will remain the center of it for a very, very long time as we know it. The difference is that we have to be ready to keep seeing what is new, which is coming, what new segments, what new markets. We must remember one thing: this global narrative, which is being built about jobless growth and other things and all, is also based on the fact that many of these countries have gone into a demographic decline 25 years ago. They have a supply side crisis, and hence for them the return on investment on AI is far greater than the return on investment on human capital. India is not at the same level. India should still remember that human and technology is the best confluence that we can have.
Great. On that note, thank you both very much for talking to us. And I think the takeaway for me was the optimistic note that both of you struck, that we don't have to be that worried as long as people are unlearning, reskilling and relearning. Thank you very much. Thank you.